Hi, I'm River. Volunteering at the Children's Hospital was my way of giving back, a tribute to my little sister, Sarah, who lost her battle with leukemia when we were kids. Every third Saturday, I spend a few hours at Hope Children's Hospital reading stories, crafting and spreading a little joy to children going through unimaginable hardships. My husband, Mark, was my biggest cheerleader. "You're amazing with kids," he'd say, helping me pack art supplies or select books. Even our kids, Emma, 8, and Lucas, 6, got involved, making cards for what we called my hospital friends. It was a simple, meaningful routine until Diana, my sister-in-law, entered our lives. Diana moved in with us after her divorce, claiming it was temporary. At first, she seemed genuinely interested in my volunteer work. She'd ask about the kids I helped and my schedule. Looking back, I should have recognized her curiosity for what it really was, an unhealthy obsession brewing beneath the surface. "It must be hard leaving your own kids to spend time with strangers," she'd say over dinner, her tone laced with feigned concern. I'd explain it was just one Saturday morning a month, but her comments planted seeds of doubt I couldn't yet see. Her jabs became sharper. One afternoon, when Emma showed her a Mother's Day card she'd made for me, Diana's reaction chilled me. "How sweet. Do the other kids at the hospital make cards for her too?" She smiled, but her eyes carried something cruel. She started making comments to Mark too, though he brushed them off as harmless chatter. But then Diana escalated. Her whispers to my kids began. "Where do you think Mommy really goes?" she'd ask, leaning in close to Emma and Lucas. "I heard she has other children she loves more than you." The final blow came last week. I was helping Lucas with his homework when he suddenly blurted out, "Mommy, do you love your hospital kids more than us?" His voice cracked, and my heart broke. Before I could answer, Emma appeared in the doorway, tears in her eyes. "Aunt Diana says you have secret kids. Is that why you lock your phone?" I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. I pulled them into a hug, tears streaming down my face. "You two are my whole world," I told them. "The kids at the hospital are sick, like Aunt Sarah was. They just need someone to make them smile." That night, I caught Emma scrolling through my phone, her small hands trembling. "Aunt Diana said you're hiding pictures of your other kids," she whispered. My heart twisted as I reassured her there were no secrets. But when I tucked them into bed, Lucas clung to me, whispering, "Promise you won't leave us." As I stepped out of their room, I saw Diana standing in the hallway, her arms crossed and a smirk tugging at her lips. She was enjoying this. She had manipulated my children into questioning my love for them, and it was clear she wasn't going to stop. But I'd had enough. My relationship with my kids was sacred, and I wasn't going to let Diana destroy it. As I closed their bedroom door, determination replaced my heartbreak. Diana had started this game, but I was going to finish it. The next morning, I woke up with a clear mission: to protect my family and expose Diana's manipulation once and for all. As the kids ate breakfast, I reminded them about the plan to visit the hospital. Emma's eyes lit up, though Lucas seemed hesitant. Diana, however, froze mid-sip of her coffee, her face a picture of poorly disguised panic. "I'm not really dressed for an outing," she began, glancing down at her sweatshirt. "That's fine," I said, my voice firm but calm. "This is about transparency, not appearances." Mark looked between us, still processing the events of the previous night. "I think it's a great idea," he said, his tone more serious than I'd ever heard when addressing Diana. "It'll be good for the kids to see what River actually does." By the time we arrived at Hope Children's Hospital, Diana was visibly uncomfortable. I led my family through the bright hallways where nurses and staff greeted me warmly. "River, so good to see you," one of the child life specialists said, pulling me into a hug. "The kids have been asking about story time all week." Emma and Lucas watched with wide eyes as a group of young patients shuffled into the activity room, their IV poles in tow, but their faces lit up with excitement. "Mommy, do they get to do crafts like us?" Lucas whispered, holding my hand tightly. "They do," I said, crouching to his level. "And today you'll get to help." For the next hour, I watched my children paint alongside kids who, despite their battles, laughed and created with boundless joy. Emma read a story aloud to a little boy who couldn't stop smiling. Even Mark rolled up his sleeves, helping a girl cut shapes for a college. The transformation in my family was instant and undeniable. Diana, however, lingered by the door, her discomfort palpable. Occasionally, I caught her fidgeting with her phone or glancing at the clock. When one of the nurses cheerfully offered her a paintbrush, she declined with a tight smile, muttering something about needing to step outside for air. Afterward, as we gathered in the lobby, Emma tugged at my sleeve. "Mommy," she said, her voice filled with wonder, "I think the hospital friends are really lucky to have you." I knelt and hugged her tightly, my heart swelling with relief. Lucas joined in, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like my family was whole again. Back at home, the atmosphere had shifted. Mark, who had remained mostly silent on the drive back, finally turned to Diana. "I saw everything today," he said, his voice laced with quiet anger. "And I also heard the recordings River played last night. You've been lying to my children, manipulating them, and trying to turn them against their own mother." Diana opened her mouth to protest, but he held up a hand to stop her. "You're my sister, and I care about you, but I will not allow you to poison this family." Her face reddened, but she didn't argue. Instead, she stormed upstairs to pack her things. Within the hour, she was gone. That night, as I tucked Emma and Lucas into bed, Lucas looked up at me with tearful eyes. "I'm sorry, Mommy," he whispered. "I should have known you'd never keep secrets from us." "You have nothing to be sorry for," I assured him, kissing his forehead. "And no matter what anyone says, always remember how much I love you." As I turned out their light, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't experienced in months. Diana's influence was finally gone, and my children had seen the truth with their own eyes. It wasn't just a victory, it was the beginning of healing for all of us. Saturday morning arrived with a heavy silence. The car ride to Hope Children's Hospital was tense, with Diana sitting stiffly in the backseat alongside Emma and Lucas. Her usual smug confidence was gone, replaced by nervous fidgeting. Every so often, she'd glance at her phone, likely searching for a way to back out of the plan. When we arrived at the pediatric ward, Sarah, the head nurse, greeted us with her usual warmth. "Welcome back, River. Oh, you brought your family today." Her smile faltered slightly when Diana muttered under her breath, "We're here to see what's really going on." "These must be Emma and Lucas," Sarah said brightly, ignoring Diana's remark. "Your mom talks about you all the time. She even shows us pictures. The kids here love seeing them. It reminds them of all the fun things they'll get to do again when they're better." Emma's eyes widened in surprise. "You know about us?" "Of course," Sarah replied. "Your mom is so proud of you both. In fact, we've hung up some of the cards you made. Come on, I'll show you." As we walked through the ward, the tension began to ease. Emma and Lucas saw firsthand the reading corner where I spent my time, complete with a framed photo of me surrounded by smiling patients. Lucas spotted his favorite superhero book on the shelf and tugged on my sleeve. "Mommy, that's the one I told you to bring. Did the kids like it?" "They loved it," I said with a smile. "Because like you said, superheroes are for everyone, especially kids who need them most." Then came the moment that shattered Diana's lies. From one of the rooms, a tiny voice called out, "River, did you bring the next chapter of our book?" It was Sophie, a 7-year-old leukemia patient I often read to. She looked frail but beamed at the sight of me. Emma glanced at Sophie, then back at me. Realization dawned on her face. "Is this why you come here, Mommy? To read to kids who are sick, like Aunt Sarah was?" "That's right, sweetheart," I said softly, kneeling to her level. "Remember how I told you about Aunt Sarah and how lonely she felt in the hospital? These kids are just like her. They need someone to make them smile and help them feel brave." Mark reached for my hand, his eyes glistening with emotion. Meanwhile, Diana lingered awkwardly by the nurse's station, her carefully constructed web of lies unraveling before her eyes. The final nail in the coffin came during craft time. As we helped the children make paper butterflies, Sophie looked at Emma and asked, "Your mom tells us stories about you and Lucas all the time. Is it true you tried to teach your hamster to swim?" Emma giggled. "Yeah, but Mom saved him just in time. She talks about us all the time." Sophie grinned. "She says her kids are her heroes and give her hope to keep going." On the ride home, the air in the car felt lighter. Emma and Lucas were buzzing with excitement, clutching the butterflies they had made with their new friends. Diana, however, sat quietly, staring out the window, her scheme in shambles. That evening, Mark made the decision I had silently hoped for. "Diana," he said firmly, "you didn't just lie. You tried to destroy my children's trust in their mother. That's unforgivable." Pack your things tonight. Diana attempted a weak defense but quickly realized there was no point. She left the next day, leaving behind only a brief, half-hearted apology note. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, Emma hugged me tightly. I'm sorry we believed Aunt Diana, Mommy. Can we come with you next time? I want to read to Sophie too. Me too. Lucas chimed in. And we can bring more superhero books, right? Of course, I said, kissing their foreheads. Watching them fall asleep, I felt a peace I hadn't known in months. Diana's departure had done more than restore calm. It had brought us closer together. Now my hospital visits have become a family tradition. Emma and Lucas love helping me bring smiles to the kids, and Mark supports us every step of the way. As for Diana, the last I heard, she was attending a spiritual retreat, finding herself. I hope she finds whatever she needs to heal, but I know she'll never again have the chance to tear apart our family. What about you? If you were in my shoes, would you have let the truth reveal itself, or taken a different approach? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective.